Last updated 7:36, May 14, 2018. Katrina Miles with her children were among 7 who were shot dead in the small Western Australian town of Osmington. Australia remains an example to the world on the necessity of careful and strict gun control. Despite the firearm-related deaths of 7 people near Margaret River, West Australian Premier Mark McGowan says, the bodies of 3 adults and 4 children were found at an Osmington property, in the state's southwest region. On Friday, the family had all been shot by firearms licensed to grandfather Peter Miles, who was among the dead. WA Police Commissioner Chris Dawson confirmed the guns belonged to grandfather Peter Miles. The WA Premier was on Sunday questioned about nasty comments since made overseas, including from the US, that question whether Australia still remains an example of excellent gun control after the mass shooting. Read more. Father of Margaret River shooting victim speaks 2-minute emergency call. The key to Margaret River deaths. Australian community hurting deeply. Guns found at property belonged to grandfather. 3 adults and 4 children found dead. In Western Australia town we have some of the tightest gun laws in the world, and I think we're an example to the rest of the world that you need to have very careful and strict controls when it comes to gun ownership and gun usage, McGowan replied. A temporary support center has been set up in Margaret River after the tragedy. In this case, it appears, all of the firearms involved were licensed and there was the appropriate management of those firearms as best you can. It was a farming property. In some ways there's not much else that I can see from the outside that could have been done. WA Police Commissioner Chris Dawson said it was not unusual for Peter Miles to have 3 weapons attached to his 1 firearm license at the rural address. I've not got any additional information that would cause me particular concern about the gun licensing arrangements in this particular matter, Dawson said. An opinion piece by Siraj Hashmi, published in the Washington Examiner on Friday, notes that Australia is often touted by US gun control advocates as the shining role model to reduce mass shootings since its 1996 gun buyback program. But it also cites the 2014 Lindt Cafe siege in Sydney, where hostages were held at gunpoint and 2 died. The point is this: while some data suggests that super strict gun control has cut down on gun violence and gun-related deaths in some cases, there's still no guarantee that you're safe. Hashmi writes. The Osmington incident was Australia's worst mass shooting since Tasmania's Port Arthur massacre in 1996, where lone gunman Martin Bryant killed 35 people. Recent U.S. mass shootings to make global headlines include the deaths of 17 people at a Florida high school in February, 58 people on the Las Vegas Strip in October 2017 and 49 people at an Orlando gay nightclub in 2016. Stephen Paddock, the gunman in last year's massacre, was able to purchase more than 30 guns